Welcome or welcome back to my channel. Today I am playing with Stick It Down as their guest designer for May, which I'm so excited about. And this is a single page sketch. And I'm going to replace the stars with frames. I'm going to scrapbook this picture of my little family from a long time ago. That oldest is about ready to graduate high school. And then I had a piece of paper with all those frames in it. And while I was waiting for my youngest at an appointment, I just cut them out. So I did not include that in this because, yeah, there was nowhere to do that in the waiting room. So, but it was just fussy cutting. It was literally a piece of paper that had all those black frames on them. So I cut down my photo to a 4.5 by, it's by 4, just because I wanted to take off some of that pavement above all of our heads. And then I'm going to mat it in white and in black to mimic those frames. And so the white is going to be 4.25 by 4.75, and then the black is going to be 5 by 4.5. I did think about that. So there's about 1/8 of an inch all the way around for both. This is just a scrap cardstock that I'm using, so I don't get rid of much of this at all because all those pieces you can use for something. So I'm just going to get that put on, and there we go. The paper in behind that I've decided I'm going to use is a garden party paper from Maggie Holmes. I think I hold the branding strip up here for a second, but yeah, it might be too fast, so if you need to, go ahead and pause it. But I don't know if you can really find this paper anymore, but I picked it because it has 5 stripes there, and there's kind of 5 sections along the top of the sketch. So you've got 3 larger stars, and then you've got 4 medium stars, and then a whole bunch of clusters of the smaller ones. I'm going to use 3 larger frames, not the largest, but larger. I'm going to use 4 medium ones and then a bunch of little bits. And so I am going to flip where the photos go. And so instead of the title being on the right side, I'm going to put it on the left side, just because we are, other than my husband, we're all looking at what Evie has in her hand. And that's my youngest. And she playing with, I don't know if it was a dandelion or a weed or something like that. She was always picking up little bits and pieces like that. So I am going to build out this side with frames so that in the sketch you can see that there's 3 photos. I only have 1 photo, and there's the stars there. So I'm going to use 1 photo and replace the rest of the photos with some of these frames for space-wise. My title's still going to get nestled above these and beside my photo, so that works out okay. I'm just trying to figure out, I like this orientation, and then this one is not going to work anymore, and that's okay, but I definitely do like this, and I'm going to fill out the rest of the side in a second. Just not entirely sure what I want to do there yet. So I had thought about keeping this a little bit smaller, but I'm going to look for a title. So this is Hip Kit Club, and this is You Make Me Happy. I thought about it, but I just wanted something a little bigger, so I pulled out these gold ones, and lots of this gold is going to get on here, and it kind of works really well. This is a photo of my sweet little family in between my brother's wedding and reception, so we just had some time, and so I just called it Family Time, which gives it a little bit bigger title. The gold is fun with that pinky stuff on the back, and I just liked it. So that's what I did. Just using my T-square ruler to get that Family Time on straight, and done. Yay. And then obviously there's that spot underneath family that needs a bit, but this big one just works out perfect. I was so happy. So, And that's where my journaling is actually going to end up. So on the sketch, the journaling is underneath one of those photos, but I'm just going to use one of that big block for it. So now I'm looking at some of the stuff I have. I don't have 3 of those frilly frames that I just picked out. So I'm trying to figure out what do I do have. So I do have 3 of these bigger, bolder ones in the same size. So those are going to be my 3 bigger frames. And so I am looking at the sketch on my iPad to the right of me as I'm doing this, because I do want it to be somewhat recognizable, but hopefully everybody, with the sketch in the corner there, everybody can see where I'm going with it. So there's the 1, 2, 3 larger stars. This is what these 3 frames are representing. And then we have the 4 medium stars, and I'm going to use this style of square frame, which is a little lighter, but that's okay. They're in a couple different sizes, so I've got these 3, and I do realize I need that 4th one here in a little bit, but I'm going to start with the 3 of them. And just using my T-square so I can get these on straight. I don't use it for all of the frames, but these main ones I definitely wanted to be on definitely straight. So those are the 3 upper medium stars. And then I'm going to start putting in some of the smaller bits. So beside that first large star and underneath that first medium star, there is a cluster of smaller stars there. So I'm going to put some smaller frames there. And then beside and underneath and above the next 2 have some smaller ones. So there's going to be some that go there. And just trying to stay true to the sketch, but using different shapes, which sometimes does my brain in, but it worked out. I absolutely love this layout, so it was worth running with this. I was going to look for stars to begin with, and then I wasn't sure what picture I was going to do. I was thinking maybe some birthday ones, and then I saw this frame paper and I was like, no, I am going to do this a little bit differently than the stars, and I'm going to do it with the frames. So I had some time before I set it up thinking about how I might want to do this. I had thought about doing it on black cardstock with these black frames, but it didn't make it, I don't know, it looked a little flatter than I wanted. So to add more dimension, I could have put some of these frames up on foam adhesive too, but I didn't. So just my pictures up on foam adhesive, but I am going to use some puffy stickers and some chipboard, so it does give it some dimension, and then it also gets some washi tape stickers, so it does give it a bit more texture on it too. So just, this is fiddly, definitely fiddly, but decided on this one I can definitely get these ones down. Sneak this one underneath. And that's super cute. I'm happy with that. I do want something on that edge, and I keep trying that really skinny one, but there's too much pink in between, so I did want something else there. So, and then I decided this butterfly and some of these pieces from, I think this is Second Avenue, was the collection, will work really well on here. I think they could possibly be Maggie Home stickers too. They kind of look like it, but I don't know. it's stash. So get some more of these down. I know I kind of want to go with something in the bigger frames now. That butterfly staying there for now. And just getting stuff on. That's where I notice, hey, I need one of these medium size squares here. So I'm going to take the little bit of this cut off one and remove it so that there's not two of those right beside. And then this fits really well at the end where I wanted something else. This I'm just going to pop down just a little bit because it just felt a little high now that I had that other one in there. So it's going to come over and down just a touch. And that makes me happier. And then I can sneak some of these pieces in. And yeah, so those littler frames that I'm putting in represent the little stars that are outlined on there. So that works out pretty good. Felt like it needed a little something on the other side of that one. So, which works. This one is going to go, this one here is going to go underneath. I'm just trying to get a balance of some of the darker frames and some of the lighter frames so that it doesn't look super flat. And then I'm going to pull some of these stickers. So this smile is going to go down here because I had quite a bit of room down there and it works. And then I do move the butterfly to the middle, and then I have these two solid gold bows that are going to go in the other two clusters. So it kind of sets out as three major clusters across the top, just because of how they are set up together. And I fussed with that for a second, but it's going to move again. But these ones are easy to move. I'll probably have to go in and add some glue to them. And that flower one in beside the picture on that long frame because that works. And then just take a look to see if there's anything else. I don't want anything massively big. So that other flower is a little big. I could have cut it and put it in where I'm going to put my journaling, but I'm going to put my journaling right in here. And I was going to use my T-square, but that's not quite straight. And I didn't use a T-square to put that one on. So I was thinking of drawing lines because I don't like to freehand it for writing. And then I was like, oh, I can freehand it. And then I was like, no. So yeah. And then my journaling says, a quick family photo in between Ian and Sarah's wedding and reception. Matea was a flower girl. She was the flower girl. And my nephew was the ring bearer. So that was a lot of fun. She was so little. She's about 6 looking at Evie. 5. I'm going to have to ask my brother the year they got married so I can put the date on it. And then I decided I needed some things to go into those boxes. So I pulled out my white and black and neutral bin, and so I pulled out some of this gray stuff and with gold, and I did make you watch me go through all of that bin because it takes some time. But I really liked those washi sticker hearts, and so this is all from Studio Calico. And so these chipboard circles are the same kind of gold that the writing is on, like the puffy stickers that I already have. So I'm going to use these in some of the boxes that don't have anything. And so that would have worked fine the way it is, like that, but I wanted to use these. So I decided these gray washi heart stickers, because we're at a wedding, can totally go into those 4 boxes that are supposed to be a little bit more prominent. So that's super cute. And then as I do this, I'm like, oh, I want the bows in the big frame, and then that gives me some room in each of the clusters for one of these chipboard circles. And so the first one was a camera, if you didn't see. The second one says love, and the first one, or the third one, says new. And then getting that heart is just not quite centered. And then the one in the bottom there says today. I give it 2 more washi sticker hearts in both of those squares because there's 4 of us, so why not? And then this one goes here. And then I decide it needs 1 more heart underneath the E and the smile because it just ties it together. And I did think about doodling on the hearts, and instead of doing it right on my page, I did it on the side one so that I didn't have to tear it off my page. And then I decided it needed 1 more thing, and on the sketch, those bigger stars, the medium ones and the large ones, are all dangling. So I'm going to draw some lines with those ones dangling on my page. So hopefully you can see the sketch and how I used it. Because I don't know if people would notice if I didn't have it there and I wasn't talking about how I did it. And then I'm just going to use a thinner black Sharpie, and I'm drawing 3 squiggly lines for each of these. In the center. I did a pencil line first, just so that I'm not completely off center, because that would bother me. But I think that last bit of those lines really ties that together. I so love this. And then I add XOXOXO on the bottom there, and I'm going to put some fossilized amber on here as some splatter, because there is some splatter in that sketch. Just going to cover up my photo because I don't want gold on us. And I'm just going to sprinkle it everywhere. It's not quite everywhere in the sketch, but I love me some gold splatter, so it's going to go everywhere. I am going to hit it with a heat gun. I'm actually going to dab up a little bit on the text or the journaling, just so that you can read through it. It can go on pretty opaque. And obviously I cut out some of that heat drying. And here is close-ups. I am so happy with this page. I hope you are too. If you are, definitely give me a thumbs up. Here are some close-ups. Oh, so cute. Love it. So I'm going to show you the clusters. All of the clusters. Super, super love it. Yeah, I know I said it, but I'm going to say it again. It makes me smile. Awesome. Thank you for Stick It Down for making me their guest designer this month. Is a pleasure and an honor. If you haven't subscribed to me yet, there is a button here. There is a couple other videos that you might want to take a look at too. Thank you so much for watching, and have yourself a wonderful day.